We have been in no less than 7 counties where the best of the best fought each other over 1,000 kilometers of more dust, gravel, mud and stones than the average quarry. It's uncompromising, addictive, and often unforgiving, with an adrenaline rush like no other. Only one battle remains. It is also the battle that will decide the ultimate outcome. This is the final round of the 2016 Kenya National Championship. Welcome to the final round of the Kenya National Rally Championship, the last roll of the dice, the last chance to improve on championship points, the last chance to make their mark on a historic year that saw the fabulous flying Finn Tapio Laukinen, the first foreigner to dominate and certainly be crowned the 2016 champion by the end of the event. The very best of the Guru Nanak Rally coming up, including the outcome of the protest from the appeals panel. So after 7 rounds of the season, the Kenya National Rally Championship finally reached its conclusion with the Guru Nanak Rally, which was held in Naivasha on the 26th of November. The penultimate round was a fierce duel between arch-rivals Jassi Chatti and Tapio Laukinen. It was a must-win rally for Chatti to keep his championship title hopes alive. In the end, Chatti painfully lost the KCB Kitengela win 2 kilometers to the finish line, and in the process handed over the championship laurels to Laukinen. So the provisional results gives advantage to Laukinen, who leads with 144 points. Chatti is second with 118 points, and Rajbir is third with 104 points. Tapio's teammate Manfir is fourth, and Ian Duncan rounds up the top 5. The Sikh Union Club, organisers of the rally, started the event a day early with scrutineering held at the Buffalo Mall in Naivasha town. 43 crews registered for this rally, amongst them 3 crews from Tanzania. The Harry Singh rally team, comprising of Danny siblings of Gurjit, Rajbal and Ajminder, were the first Tanzanians to grace the Kenya National Rally Championship this season. The biggest story to hit the rally fraternity was the news that after 14 years of being a major role player to the development of motorsport in Kenya, KCB Bank confirmed that they will step down as the title sponsor of the Kenya National Rally Championship. Although KCB Bank will still support motorsport, this could be the last time we see KCB Bank in full action in its capacity as a title sponsor. And this will be the scene of the final battle of 2016. 6 stages totaling 153 kilometers, with a mixture of tight tracks between trees and other obstacles, leaving no room for error in the Aberdare area, then fast, dusty and slippery roads in the Soisambu Conservancy. A tough test, considering that the first stage was notoriously rough, immediately followed by 2 long stages before a well-deserved service break. The KCB Naivasha branch was the backdrop of the start of the final battle for 2016, and youngster Karan Patel was fired up and was the unlucky one to be first on the road for the first time in his rallying career.
Well, given the fact that it hasn't rained overnight, I think the road surface should be quite good. It's supposed to dry up really quickly, so I'm praying for that.
Excitement was in the air as crews left the ceremonial start to proceed to battle. Stage 1, just outside Naivasha town, was titled Aberdare. 19 kilometers of tight, rough and narrow roads was the challenge before the crews travelled 57 kilometers to refuel and tackle stage 2, known as Eland, the longest stage of the rally. 32 kilometers of dusty and slippery roads, immediately followed by the 22-kilometer Nyati stage, which was wet and slippery due to rainfall. 3 stages with no service in between. Arun Patel and co-driver Shamir Yusuf were the first ones to show their opening hand with a fierce start, hungry to make a mark in the opening stage. Unfortunately, the Filmico Mitsubishi Evo 10 succumbed to the rough roads and their rear diff broke 8 kilometers into the section. A shocking wild start to the event, as if to prelude things to come.
50, medium drop and slow right.
Second on the road is pretty much as tough as being the first and had no real advantage.
200.
With Ravi Soni calling the notes, Baldev Chagar now being first on the road found the going slippery and set the benchmark time of 12 minutes and 33 seconds. From way further back, Rajbir Rai was in a fantastic position to pounce on the situation, and pounce he did. 11 minutes and 59 seconds, or 34 seconds quicker than Chagar. This is the MRT Subaru Impreza of championship leader Tapio Laukkanen negotiating very tight and narrow tracks of stage 1, where rocks, trees and other obstacles were lying and waiting to take a big bite of any tyre that would dare to venture wide on any corner. Laukkanen finished the stage 9 seconds behind Rajbir, but was concerned.
It was okay. We had quite a few heavy impacts, so something is bent in the front. There is a big knocking sound coming, but now we have luckily some time, so we will check it up and have a look if he can see something.
Ian Duncan was fast and cautious, setting the 3rd fastest time, 30 seconds behind the leader Rajbir.
Okay, yeah, we survived. We were a bit careful. I don't know, our time was a bit slow, but it was okay.
Jassi Chatti was conservative on stage 1, setting the 4th fastest time, 3 seconds behind Duncan. Cabra's teammates and brothers Onka and Tejveer Rai followed each other, setting the 6th and 7th fastest times on the opening stage. Asad Kalulu set an impressive time and was amongst the top boys in 8th place. Tight racing all around as Amanraj Rai, co-driven by Tosif Khan, and Kilifi's Piera Konobia and Sylvia Frigo were hovering just behind the early leaders. So Rajbir Rai takes an early lead, the flying Finn Tapio Laukkanen his closest rival in 2nd, and Ian Duncan was in 3rd. Chatte showing what he's made of by holding on to 4th, just 3 seconds behind Duncan, and Chagar was in 5th. However, stage 1 served as a wake-up call to the rest of the field and had plenty of upsets. The biggest casualty was Manpia Barian, who unfortunately rolled, forcing him to retire significantly earlier than he had hoped. 6 other crews also got stuck in this stage. Among them was the indomitable all-female crew the Rally Chicks, who tasted their 2nd retirement this year with power steering issues. Also out was one of our visiting brothers from Tanzania, Rajpal Dani, who found himself spectating after his Subaru Impreza engine packed up due to overheating. This rally was far from over, and with the battleground moving to Soisambu Conservancy, there were plenty of upsets to come. As the crews were lining up to tackle stages 2 and 3,
We are going home.
We're going home.
We are done.
Laukkanen was out.
We lost the whole damper in the front, so there is no point to carry on. There is 2 long stages to go, which are very fast, and some big bumps and rocks. So it's better to save the car, and unfortunately, that's the thing. It happens sometimes.
And just like that, the 2016 Kenya National Rally champion Tapio Laukkanen unceremoniously left the race. And as they say, the fight must go on. And the demise of the 2016 Kenya Rally champion opened the door for the rest of the field to capitalize. And like a pack of wolves, they were there to strike. It was an opportunity for the deadly Rajbir Rai and Greg Steed to stamp their authority in this event. Even though they didn't win the 2 stages, they were fast enough, coming 2nd on both stages, and managed to maintain their lead by the halfway mark.
That stage 3 was quite tricky. It's dry then muddy, so it gets a bit tricky, difficult to set a good rhythm through there, but yeah, so far so good.
Peeping them were none other than the 2015 Kenya Rally champion Jesse Chate and Gugu Panasar. The pair were blistering in the second stage, beating Rajbir by just 1 second, and again clinched stage 3 honours, winning by 10 seconds, overtaking 2 rivals and slotting them to second overall.
CS2 was very fast, dusty as usual, so Sambu, and then getting into CS3 after the halfway mark, very wet, interesting. I mean, really slippy all the way. It was quite interesting in the second half of CS3.
Behind them, 2 other former champions were posting fast stage times. Ian Duncan and Amar Slatch were the third fastest on both stages, 44 seconds off the pace. And Baldev Chaga, who had the unfortunate task of road sweeping, found the going tough as he encountered the unique obstacles on the road.
We're having way too many animals on the road. Places where you're at 5th gear, really on the rev limiter, we're down to 1st and 2nd gear because there's zebras and congas, and it's really, I think we've slowed down at least 7 to 8 times in this whole the CS2 and 3.
For 400. Into God. Animals. And Max left over Muddle.
By the end of the 2 sections, he was 4th overall. His teammate Tejveer Rai was 5th fastest on stage 2, but lost a lot of time when he drove on the puncture the last 10 kilometers on stage 3.
The last stage was a bit horrible. Kept hitting a few rocks and got a puncture. We drove on it for about 10 k's, but we don't know how much time we lost there.
The fastest Subaru was Tanzania's Gurjit Dani, who was tackling the Kenya National Rally Championship for the first time. He clocked the 7th fastest times on both stages in his Subaru GVB 15 and was impressed by his performance.
I'm actually surprised with the position we have, but thank God we're still in the race and we still have 3 stages to go. We've just completed 50% of the rally, so let's hope we see you guys at the other end.
The silver spread crew of Dennis Mwenda and Jobin Jiru were the fastest ever done in this rally, setting stunning times, especially on stage 3, where they clocked the 5th fastest time and was 7th overall.
2-3 a bit quick, very flat out stages, hitting 200 kilometers an hour very easy. Yeah.
Asad Kalulu was keeping up with the pace of the front runners and was now 8th overall. Another surprising performance was from yet another Tanzanian competitor, Ajminda Dani, setting 12th fastest time on stage 2 and put his head down to record the 6th fastest time on stage 3, and he jumped from 15th to 9th overall. Rounding up the top 10 fastest crews were Carl Flash Tundu and Tim Jessup in their tiny but powerful classic Triumph TR7. Flash Tundu was using this event to test the car for the upcoming Rift 1000 Classic Rally.
We're testing, so it's just getting a feel. We're changing the setup on the suspension, changing the setup on the cambers, and just trying to get the best performance out of her, so then we'll move in. So I'm not pushing, but it's quite slippery out there.
It was yet another sad outing for Division 1 champion Onka Rai, who had started so well but suffered a broken steering arm on stage 3, entering into the retiring list. Outside the top 10, Kospa K's crew of Itza Mirza and Kavit Dave were now 11th overall, followed by the Chana brothers, Iceman Jasmeet and Ravi in their Magic Card Mitsubishi Evo 10. The sensational crew of Piero Conobia and Silvio Frigo were 13th overall. Division 2 champion Mahesh Halai, navigated by his nephew Ketan Halai, were keeping it neat and tidy in 14th place.
We're driving well. We've not had any problems so far. So just keeping it clean.
Aman Raj Rai, testing his new Mitsubishi R4, started off well, but had a disastrous outing in stage 3. He was now 16th overall.
CS3 was absolute disaster. We got a puncture.
and we changed it. We had a bit of a mishap with the notes. We couldn't find our notes. Once we finally started getting moving, we thought we had another puncture, so we stopped, came out of the car, realized there wasn't a puncture, got back in, belted up again. We've lost at least 6-7 minutes in that stage.
Oil Libya's Fahaz Khan and Keith Henry had a bad start to the rally. They experienced electrical issues that tumbled them down to 34th position.
The battery main cutoff decided to fail and the car just died. So by the time we figured that out, luckily Keith managed to sort it out. He found the problem and he done a direct thing. That's why we're still running.
By the end of the first loop, they were in 22nd position. Harpreet Sagu, who's been absent from rallying for a year, was now 23rd overall. Minesh Rathod, who last rallied in 2014, was back in the rallying scene behind his new Mitsubishi R4.
Trying to learn the car. It's a new car to me.
He struggled throughout the stages and was unfortunately time barred out of service. In the hotly contested two-wheel drive class, the championship title was still wide open with lots to play for. It was a two-horse race between Eric Bengi and Alex Lairangi. Bengi dominated the class by winning the first two stages, quickly opening up a 2-minute lead, and he was now 15th overall.
We had quite a few misses here and there, but we just contended and drove sanely. We are happy we have come out of there unscathed.
However, Lairangi gave a spirited fight. He was third fastest in stage 1 and set the second fastest time on stage 2 and bagged his first stage win in the slippery stage 3 section, cutting Bengi's lead by 33 seconds, and the gap between the two reduced to 1 minute and 18 seconds.
So far so good. We have had a smooth ride from morning through the 3 stages. We've not had any issues so far.
A fierce battle for third place was between outgoing champion Leonardo Varese and the feisty Sami Nyori. The Moonwalker Runex of Sami Nyori found the going hard, and Nyori wasn't too pleased with his performance.
So we feel really a bit behind and disoriented because of the puncture. We're looking forward into catching up in this section now.
Nyori was now third in his class and 19th overall. The Sport Pesa crew of Varese and Kiko Karethi also had similar puncture issues, compounded by steering problems, and were in the tail end Charlie 5th in this class and 27th overall.
We had 2 punctures towards the end of the last stage, and then a steering bush broke. So we had a big play on the steering, so the last stage and the transport, we just praying to get here because there was too much of a play on the steering.
Darren Miranda and Wayne Fernandez, in their second outing behind their Subaru GC3, had a cautious run and were 4th in this class and 20th overall. Unfortunately for Sam Karangatha and Edwin Dekui, their extreme racing Subaru Leone was sidelined with a cracked sump guard after hitting some huge rocks, which also caused a puncture. Jeff Mays and Jamie McTavish were having fun racing their big, sturdy, specially prepared Land Rover Discovery, flying through the stages, overtaking rivals and leaving them to languish in their dust.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. My Scottish co-driver here has been doing a fantastic job today. I mean, the terrain here is so different to what he's used to. But yeah, we're still here, still going.
For the surviving crews, it was time to head to the service park at Soisambu for the much needed R&R. Rest and repair in this case. And it also gave a moment to catch up with the rally leader Rajbir Rai, who sadly confirmed his intentions of retiring from rallying.
Yeah, I've done this I think for 4 or 5 years now, so it's just a bit, I've done it and it's good fun, and I just want to do different things now. I'm not saying that I won't maybe do the odd rally here and there, but during the full season it becomes quite quite difficult for me because I live in Uganda, coming back and forth all the time. It gets a bit difficult.
So after the opening loop of the first 3 stages, it was Rajbir Rai who led by 22 seconds from Chate. He in turn had Duncan 31 seconds behind him, so it was fairly tight at the top of the standings. The Dani brothers from Tanzania were doing well in 6th and 9th position overall. Next up was the final battleground, a second charge through the 32-kilometer Eland stage, followed immediately by the second run through the 25-kilometer Nyati stage, and after a short refuel, the 19-kilometer Aberdare stage would see the entire championship draw to a close. These were the last stages of the entire 2016 Kenya National Rally Championship, and for some, the last 3 stages of their careers, but for others, perhaps that last real chance to affect the outcome of the event. By the time the dust had settled in Soisambu in the mid-afternoon, the list of retirees had grown to include the visiting brothers from Tanzania, Achminda Dani, whose Subaru N10 cried enough and packed up at service, and Gurjit Dani, who was having a fantastic rally, was sidelined with engine and gearbox issues, and also Piero Conobie's charge came to a halt when his Mitsubishi Evo 10 suffered gearbox issues. And for Jasmeet Iceman Chana, this meant he was promoted into the leaderboard and took the opportunity to record his 10th Guru Nanak Rally finish in 10th overall since his debut in 2007. Mombasa's Itza Mirza pushed his Kospeke Mitsubishi Evo 9 to register his best result in his second Guru Nanak Rally. 9th overall was an impressive finish. Flash Tundo and Tim Jessup were raising eyebrows as they were logging in fast times in their top flight Triumph TR7 V8. This 1978 classic set 8th fastest times in 2 stages, and at the end, the former champion's sterling performance secured him 8th overall position. Asad Kalulu, co-driven by Hashil Limbani, were the fastest Subaru in the competition and finished 7th overall. Dennis Mwenda was pedaled to the metal in the second loop, setting his 7th fastest time in stage 4 and increased his pace, going flat out in the last 2 stages. The Silver Spread crew of Mwenda and Jobin Jiru finished 6th overall, their best career result in the championship. Even though Tejveer Rai lost time in stage 3, he was on full attack on stages 4 and 5 and stuck with the frontrunners on the last stage, ensuring he didn't lose any ground in the overall standings. The Cabras crew secured a well-deserved 5th overall position. For Baldev Chaga, first on the road was no easy task. Nevertheless, Chaga used his experience as a former champion, and remarkably he was the fastest on stage 4.
250.
But was slowed down when his rear right shock absorber broke at the end of stage 5.
Oh. And right, what's that, the diff?
I think the shock or something.
However, the Never Say Die crew carefully pushed their Cabras Mitsubishi to the end and secured 4th overall position and his 4th finish this season. Many questions were answered, but many still needed answering. Questions such as, what will the final podium of the 37th edition of the Guru Nanak Rally look like? Will Ian Duncan clinch his maiden victory this season? Will Rajbir Rai maintain his lead and bag a 2nd consecutive win? And where will Chassi Chatti fit into all of this? Who will be crowned the winner? Let's start with the name of Ian Duncan in his Liquid Telecom Mitsubishi Evo 10. Duncan had his work cut out. He was 53 seconds behind the leader Rajbir, and on stage 4 he was 5 seconds off the pace of Rajbir, and on stage 5 he was 2nd fastest. But Duncan, who has been knocking on victory's door for some time now, just couldn't keep up with the pace of the front runners, leaving him no option but to settle for 3rd overall.
It was a pretty good day for us. Most of the time we were like 3rd, so sometimes we do 2nd quickest, sometimes 3rd, but it's like, yeah, so we ended up 3rd, good result, nice to finish again, good for Liquid, we finished the rally.
Chatte and Rajbir came out all guns blazing. Rajbir was 2nd fastest on stage 4, and Chatte was breathing down his neck just 3 seconds off his pace and 3rd fastest on the stage. But Chatte went wild, foot on gas, and the Kibos Mitsubishi R4 was the fastest on stage 5, slashing 12 seconds from Rajbir's lead. Chate had caught up, and now just 13 seconds separated the two going on to the final stage. And as if to prelude the thunderous battle ahead, the heavens darkened above the last stage in Aberdare, the car breaker stage, a wet finish to the event. Chate sped off, looking to better his time and bag his second victory this year. But he was unable to better his time and finished in 12 minutes and 32 seconds, the exact time he had logged in the first loop. So now it was the dangerous Rajbir Rai who went all out. These were especially emotional moments for the Tim Sales Rally team, as this could well have been his last event, which coincidentally his father, the legendary Sabi Rai, won 23 years ago. Rajbir Rai was literally at the doorstep of victory. Any mishap now and it could all be over. But Rajbir was flawless and crossed the flying finish in 11 minutes and 50 seconds, 42 seconds faster than Chate, and clinched yet another emphatic victory, his second of the season.
Yeah, it feels really great, especially because it's the Guru Nanak. I've always wanted to win the Guru Nanak, so yeah, it feels great to have finally won it.
Congratulations to Rajbir Rai for that exemplary performance, winning the 2016 KCB Guru Nanak Rally.
It was a tough fight, and Jassi Chate was delighted to have come second overall.
Coming second in the last rally Guru Nanak, it's definitely a great feeling.
Confirmation then of the final leaderboard of 2016 and confirmation of Rajbir Rai's back-to-back victory, clinching the KCB Guru Nanak Rally after winning the previous KCB Kitengela Rally. 18 out of 43 crews finished the rally, making every result a victory. Great comeback from the All Libya crew of Fahaz Khan and Keith Henry, who finished 13th overall, coming from 34th position. In the two-wheel drive championship, it was the final showdown. Eric Bengi just needed to finish the rally in any position, and retirement was no option. Lairangi needed to win at all cost and hoped that Bengi would either finish fourth or worse, or hope that Bengi faltered and retired from the race. But it was looking very unlikely, as the situations were perfectly reversed. And as fate would have it, Lairangi's Delights Toyota Sprinter gave up due to electrical failure, and the crew painfully bowed out of the duel and retired from the rally. The fight for third place was also hot, and it was between outgoing and four-time two-wheel drive champion Leonardo Varese and his main rival Sami Nyori. And in one final blow, Lady Luck also turned her back on the Sport Pesa crew of Varese and Kiko Korethi when their cooling fans failed en route to the final stage of the rally. A sad ending to the outgoing champions season. Nyori, who's been resilient throughout the championship, gladly accepted the gift and finished second in this class. Darren Miranda and Wayne Fernandez took it neat and tidy and finished third in the two-wheel drive class, the same position Darren coincidentally achieved in his debut Guru Nanak Rally 10 years ago, back in 2006. So Eric Bengi is the winner and the 2016 two-wheel drive champion, and Tutu Mionki clinched her first ever title by being crowned the two-wheel drive navigator champion.
It's a very exciting day for us. We have won the two trophies, both for the driver and the navigator. It's very coveted, and that's what we were praying for the whole day and the whole season. And finally, today it is here.
I think when I started navigating him, I did not go to the end of the season. So getting to the end of the season with him and being a champion is a blessing, really.
Confirmation then that Bengi and Tutu Mionki are the two-wheel drive champions with 171 points. The underdogs Delights crew of Lairangi and Anthony Geshohi was second with 132 points. Sami Nyori secured a podium position in third place with 120 points. Varese was fourth with 104 points. And Darren Miranda and Wayne Fernandez finished fifth with 30 points. In the classic car class, Ramesh Vishram is the 2016 champion in this category, finishing with 67 points. Carl Tunda and Jonathan Soman are tied in second with 25 points. Dinesh Sachania is fourth with 18 points. And the Datsun 160J of Rajwinder Jutli was a non-starter in this event. Asad Kalulu is the 2016 SPV champion in this class with 130 points. In the S class, Kisumas Chandrakant Devji is the champion, winning with 78 points. And finally, this left us with only one more question to answer. Who will be crowned the 2016 Kenya National Rally champion? It's a question which started early in the season when Tapio Laukkanen won the first rally of the season and went on to clinch 3 consecutive wins, bringing to a total of 4 rallies won this year. Chate bounced back to claim one valuable victory, the most prestigious honour in the championship, the 2016 Safari Rally title. After 8 months of full-scale war, championship leader Tapio Laukkanen's victory celebrations were put on hold after Team Kibos put a protest citing irregularities over the airbox of Tapio Subaru Impreza. However, Team Kibos later withdrew the protest and congratulated Tapio Laukkanen for winning the 2016 championship. So there you have it, Finnish Rally Champion, British Rally Champion, and now Kenya Rally Champion. The Speedmaster, the Flying Finn, Mr. Heavyfoot, call him what you please, Tapio Laukkanen is the 2016 Kenya National Rally Champion, the first foreigner to clinch this title.
Yes, of course. That's, we didn't have any pressure coming into this one. So, but obviously we wanted to get the good finish for the season. So it's disappointing, and also with the new co-driver, we were having a good laugh on the first one. So yeah, but okay, let's see what the next season brings.
Confirmation then of the final leaderboard in 2016. Hats off to Tapio Laukkanen in pole position. Chate is second. However, his appeal against his disqualification is still pending, and if it doesn't go in his favour, he will drop to third. Rajbir Rai is currently in third. Duncan just managed to pip Manveer to take fourth place, and Barrian's impressive season earns him a top 5 spot. Well, it's been a war of epic proportions on a battlefield where dreams can come true, but where they can also be shattered. We salute all the warriors who made it so epic, and congratulate the ones who came out on top, and we sincerely thank KCB Bank for giving us 14 years of rallying entertainment. For now, it's goodbye from all of us. See you next year.